An obscure treatise, much like its title, and designated not for the rare or the insane, but for all moments of rarity and madness, that alchemy awakens in the being. Through provocative pages, letters, words, and constructions are unfolded that reflect the keys that elucidate the questions that float in moments of rarity and madness. The text is a direct reflection of a previous text, whose image is not contrary to it, but is an amplification. Navigating through it is a challenge proposed by waves that are sometimes gentle and tedious, but soon deviate to storms and waterfalls, which, when crossed, deliver with truth, completeness, clarity, and certainty what the senses should have already unveiled long ago. This is an unfinished text, resulting from the junction of 3 books, all with the same title, but with the subtitles. Book 1. About the text. Book 2. About the open book, and Book 3. About the identity of being. It seems to originate from a differentiated consciousness, from a differentiated author. The title in question was borrowed and refers to a passage from Hermann Hesse's Steppenwolf. Written on a wall, not for everybody, for madmen only, arouses the curiosity of those who do not surrender to the superficiality that is offered to everyone, and who long for elements that corroborate their reason for existence. Millennial or contemporary treatises have come to the eyes of these unique beings, who are also rare and sometimes insane. There is a moment when the book states that it is not only for these that the text speaks, but that it offers itself, in moments of rarity and madness, that everyone goes through. The book seems to take the same movements that the stars use when they want to project themselves to the farthest. What seems repetitive is not repetition in the eyes of the attentive, as it brings additions and emphases to the laboratory processes of beings in transformation. The ability of the discourse, which seems to polemicize with human constructions and institutions, sustains the objective and intention of the author. Rarity and madness are nothing more than the antagonistic position to the normality of things where science predominates. Understanding this science is part of this limitless movement. In one part of the text, the book states that the door opens to 2 entrances, but while it opens to one, it closes to the other, in a metaphor that is perfectly understandable and widely cited in alchemical treatises. A desire, while transiting through the book, is that the rare or the insane excite the being, leading the being to command. Not for everybody. For madmen only. What did the signs say? Not for everybody, and for madmen only. I looked inquisitively at the old walls, secretly wishing that the prodigy would repeat itself, that the inscription would invite me as a madman, that the door would let me in. There, probably, would be what I wanted. There, perhaps, they would interpret my music. Resigned, I looked at the dark stone wall, surrounded by darkness, deeply immersed in its sleep. And there was no door, or ogival arch, only the dark and silent wall, without openings. Steppenwolf. Der Steppenwolf. Hermann Hesse? The translation of a text has some difficulties. However, the difficulty of this text is not the translation of a text, but the translation in a text, since the language that gives it origin is no longer ambient. The translation work, therefore, constantly requires a visit to its origin. I confess, the introduction of terms and tributes to contemporaries, with whom I have the honor of living, in all times. This does not make me special, but it privileges me. I am convinced that the rare will become fewer and fewer, and that the mad will become more and more. And everyone will be given a table, whose banquet is plentiful. Therefore, here is a spontaneous contemporary translation of a unique and unmasked language that permeates the universe since its origin, and from which all forms of expression result. This conversation is a natural dedication, not to the rare or the mad, but to the moment of rarity and madness of each one.